All right. Shalom Yashala. Call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Waharaka Kwadash Brakathum. I like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Akyam, pushing his truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Aqua that they're listening. What I have here on the screen is Dr. Fauci. Okay, he had the hearing here. What was that? A few days ago, right? And now he supposedly going to be held in contempt. So, but you know, this is just a prime example. Once again, as I always like to state, and apostles, bishops, and elders also say the same thing, which you all know, hey, man, the scriptures, first and foremost, are going to remain undefeated, man. You cannot go against Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, okay, in any facet, okay? You could have these outlandish ideas and ideology that you bugged out niggas and heathens and these weak-ass Christians have, but you can't get around Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, man. But this is an excerpt, a clip, if you will, from that hearing. And the scriptures are going to back it up. So I'm going to let that play, and then I'm going to get some scriptures.
Advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyers sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs. They know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Hey, man, you know what? What more do you need? You know, what more proof do you need, man? That this, you know, the so-called white man's a goddamn devil, man. This is Psalms chapter 73, verse 3. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Okay? Let me reread that again. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Okay? When you see this, you know, it's like, damn, you know, but, you know, like the scriptures also state, matter of fact, let me get that. It's always a beautiful one to go to. This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. You know, because when you see these devils, man, and you think like, damn, man, like, bro, the Most High is a man of his word, man. Okay, from prophecy to judgment. Okay, these devils aren't gonna get away. You know, the Lord is setting this up beautifully. Okay, letting us know who's who. Point blank, period, man. Okay, let me read verse 3 again. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Verse 4. For there are no bands in their death. Okay, there, you know, those who are so-called upper echelon, high society, you know, painless deaths, if you will. You know, nothing is being seen as as obstacles for them, compared to, individuals such as myself or just other, really just, really the oppressed and the oppressor, really, and we understand who the oppressor is, man. It's the so-called white man. We could talk about how, 2/3 of our people are wicked and this and that. Hey, yeah, guess what? 2/3 of our people who've sold out, hey, they're going to be judged too. Okay? They're going to be judged. But this right here, in this particular chapter right here, these verses right here is talking about these Edomites, man. Okay? They don't, that they're not under the curses. Okay? We are. So that's why we're looking at it from this spiritual perspective, like putting 2 and 2 together, call halal Yahweh Bashem Yashah for that. Okay? Matter of fact, I want to, let me see something. Bear me, Baruch Shah. And this is in the NLT right here. So, where we at? Yeah. I'll start at verse 3 again. For I envied the proud when I saw them prosper despite their wickedness. Verse 4, they seem to live such painless lives. Their bodies are so healthy and strong. Verse 5, they don't have troubles like other people. They are not plagued with problems like everyone else. Okay? And everyone sees this, man. And this is and this has to be a clear indicator of who the wicked is, man, especially what Fauci's been known for. Okay? They putting out false flags and manipulating people, fear mongering. Bro, it's just countless, people, lost their livelihoods during the jab era, man. People are without due to Fauci, and due to E, man, just straight up due to E. And granted, of course, we all understand it's the will of Yahweh Bashem Yashah, but hey, man, prophecy is gonna continue to shine, man. And if you don't get it, you just don't get it. Tough luck, man. And that's going to the Israelites. Okay, that comment is directed at Jake. Verse 5, I'll start there again. They don't have troubles like other people. They're not plagued with problems like everyone else. Okay? Now, granted, you do have lower tier Edomites who are, struggling and so forth. But in the words of Lyndon B. Johnson, hey, you could get the lowest performing Edomite and have him believe he's better than the most accomplished Israelite, man. That was Lyndon B. Johnson's go-to. You get an impoverished Edomite who's at the bottom of the barrel and have him with the mindset, hey, I'm still better than this nigger because he's got a doctorate or a master's degree. He's successful. Jake is, basically a so-called anomaly, which we know, it's Jake who does well for themselves. That's no secret, and that's beyond playing, sports and entertainment. But, Lyndon B. Johnson said that, and you could look that up. You get the bottom of the barrel Edomite, loosely paraphrasing, white person or whatever, and have him feel he's better than the most accomplished so-called Negro. You got people on your side, And as we see, hey, that still holds true to this day. Very true, okay? Verse 6, they wear pride like a jeweled necklace and clothe themselves with cruelty, okay? The current administration, okay? Past administrations, all this pride, man, okay, that E has, but it's only setting them up for the okie doke, man. The Lord is going to, the Lord's going to knock these niggas off their feet, man. Okay? Not in the way Stevie Wonder was singing about, okay? Okay? E has to go, man. And that's why the Most High is setting it up beautifully, man. This nigga E he's a nuisance. He's a cancer, okay, to the whole earth, okay? Verse 7, these fat cats have everything their hearts could ever wish for. Did not that, I believe that was a senator or House Speaker or whatever. Yeah, I believe it's a senator, I believe, or representative, what have you. Didn't he say he balled out because of that? You know, he became very rich. You know, small incentives. Here a meal right here, and countless other stuff that we don't know. You know, which we also should know, man. This is all show as well. You know, these are actors. You know, so but this is the Lord's movie, though. You know, so hey, we cool with that because this is the Lord's movie. Okay. But the Lord is showing us, hey, what these devils are up to, though. Even though it's got all this acting, it's like, bro, it was people really out here losing their lives, literally, and livelihoods, man. Done for. Dunsky. Okay? Verse 8. They scoff and speak only evil. In their pride, they seek to crush others. They boast against the very heavens, and their words strut throughout the earth. Okay, let me reread that again. They boast against the very heavens, and their words strut throughout the earth. Okay, how do they boast against the heavens? They don't give the Most High's props. There's no acknowledgement of the Most High. You know, this is what they feel, and you know, it's never by the grace of the Most High, this and that, so forth, man. You know, E is on that tip. Okay, the God complex, little man syndrome, to be quite honest with you. You know, because legally, what, as they stated in the first in the first few seconds of the clip, you were pardoned. You're not protected through the Fifth Amendment now. You know, but that's why I brought this out, and that's why the Lord prophesied this, man. Okay, that's why the Lord put the Spirit on Asaph to like, hey, these men aren't in trouble, you know, because we know if that was a Jake, you know, you out of there. Look at particular Jake, who usually gets you know, if they're in these positions. Ain't no, you know, the questioning ain't that long, or what are we gonna do with them? No, they gonna get your ass up out of there, okay? When it's Jake in the situation, but if it's an Edomite, hey, the world is their oyster, you know, for now, because the Lord is about to get this nigga up out of here. So call halal, y'all, Bashim Yashah for that, man. But Abaratazah, this is edifying for the body. And so with that, once again, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Waharakakwadosh, Brakathum. Once again, I'd like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations to the select number of Akyam pushing its truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth, and salutations to the select number of Akwat out there listening. Shalom.